Good morning, everybody. My name's Nate Manahan, and I am in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we're going to be talking about brands and payments. What is a brand? Why is a brand important? And how can you make your brand shine as a payment professional with PayProTech? All this and more on the High Five. Let's get going.
The time has come, the questions are set, opinions hide, discussions are led, show about nothing and everything, it's all the same. We've got sports, entertainment, sales, and marketing. It's time for the High Five. We've got it all covered. It's time for the High Five. We've got it all covered. Yeah. The High Five.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the High Five, and we've got some stories to tell. But first, I need to introduce the wonderful team that is joining me on the High Five this morning. On the left-hand side from Colorado, where the haze is lifting, the people are more safe in his direct valley from the fires that are all over Colorado and California, and we think of those who are fighting these fires right now, and we're so thankful for that. But Mr. Danny Shard, he's fighting the fight for payment professionals everywhere. Mr. Danny, how are you, sir?
Good morning, High Five Nation. Good morning, Nate. Good morning, Brian. Glad to be here. And yes,
morning, Dan.
The fires are being contained. The smoke is leaving our valley, and it's getting back to being beautiful here in Colorado.
Well, you know, it is always good looking when Danny's there, but also when the 31-year-old man in the middle, the man, the myth, the legend. We celebrated his birthday yesterday with a special high five. Last night, he tried to have a paid-for dinner, but the place would not accept an over-the-phone payment from Mr. Danny Shard, so Brian had to pay for his own birthday dinner. Hopefully, Brenda treated. But, Mr. Brian Linke, how are you, sir?
I'm great, Nate. And Dan, thanks for the gesture. I do appreciate it. And by the way, Nate, yeah, yesterday was my birthday, and Danny's birthday is August as well. But I celebrate I have a birthday month, so it's still going.
Well, that's very good. I'm glad that the party lives on. I'm sure this weekend's going to be epic.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some rules being broken as social distancing is not the norm in the pool of Brian Linke. That's just my guess at an August birthday.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that is.
I don't even know, but I'm just guessing it's happening. So this morning we're going to talk about brand. And so let me set this up just a little bit, guys. Brand is one of those words that a lot of people have different definitions, and we're not going to set a hard definition, but I'm going to kind of set what I think of it is. And a brand is really a word and a name that defines something that you're buying and something that you're connecting with and have a connection with. And so a lot of times I say brand is a simple equation. It's the story of who you are or what your business does. It's how you tell that story, the marketing, and the reputation they have all wrapped up together makes your brand. And we deal with lots of brands. Like, in fact, let me bring up Brian over here. Brian, let me bring up, I got a little, as he backs up, he's got a brand on his chest. He is wearing a Nike shirt today. And he bought that because there's a swoosh on that. And we deal with brands all the time, and we buy and interact with things based on brand. Now, we all do it in different types of ways. So, gentlemen, can you tell me, how you interact with brand? Do you feel like on the spectrum, 10 being I buy everything because the brand that it is, and 1 being I'm totally agnostic to brands? Where are you as you interact with brands when it comes to businesses and purchasing and buying and doing business with them because they're a brand? Danny, Brian?
Well, the simple answer for me is, the type of body that I have, which is, I don't wish it upon anyone. I certain brands fit me better than others. And on my 58 years on this planet, I've realized that. So like, for me, it's like, once I find something that most of the things that I try on fit me, I tend to go back there. So that's it for me. And yeah, you're right though, Nate. It's one of those things where like, you get on and you buy something from something like Nike, and it follows you on the everything that you click on. The ads all come up, right? I mean, these people aren't stupid, and they keep coming at you, keep coming at you, keep coming at you. And so yeah, I mean, it's not just Nike. There's a few other ones, but and then there's some that I stay away from just because the stuff that I've purchased from them, I get it home and it doesn't look the same as it did when I tried it on. So I just kind of stay away from it.
Danny, how about for you when you're looking at brands? What is it that compels you? Because we have so many, like Amazon as a brand, people just are loyal to it. Even and cost becomes not the decision making, but the convenience of it becomes the decision making process. For you, golfers, are you loyal to one brand over the other, and how do you make that decision?
You're muted.
You're muted, Mr. Danny.
I'm muted.
There you go.
There's no question. I'm a brand brat, and I didn't even realize it. And I think a lot of people are unconsciously. Nike shoes. When it comes to golf, I'm all Titleist everything, right? Clubs, bag, shirts, golf balls. Everything I do is Titleist, and it's just. I think we, like Brian said. I mean, when it comes to like clothes and things like that, you find what fits and you stick with it, right? You find the style you like, you stick with it. A lot of it is just, we like one thing from that particular brand, and we're going to be way more open to looking at other things from that particular brand because we trust it already because they've got one item that we really like. And I think brand goes a long way in helping consumers really evolve their, palettes for all the different options that one brand will have.
And I think a brand has become more and more important. Like we see it, and I want to bridge this conversation into payments, but in the payments world, brands have not so much been on the acquiring side or the processing side, though they are, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But brands for the last 2 decades, it's been on the the merchant, the customer side, on the use your Visa card, your MasterCard, your Discover card. The banks trying to develop that developing brand, so you get your Capital One, and then you get your Chase, and you do your and so those brands, and that makes a decision. And sometimes you're not making a decision on how much your credit card bill is going to be in the month or how much your annual fee is, but what you're feeling about how well they do. And some are more comparison shoppers than others. But Danny, you've been in this business for a long time. Why do you think it's just now that the brands have been on the consumer side and not on the business side in the payments world for, as long as I can remember? That has changed. We'll get to that with some of the direct to business consumer rotations. But are there brands that stick out that are non-consumer for you, Danny?
Gosh, there's so much brand confusion, in my opinion, in our industry, right? I mean, you've got how many different brands just in one company can we have, right? I mean, you've got, PayProtect, you've got EPX, you've got Pay Anywhere, you've got hundreds, it seems like, right? And from the consumer side, from the merchant side, it's like, okay, I don't even know who I'm with. I don't even know what I'm doing. So there seems to be some brand confusion that comes with it. And I think that's what we're trying to accomplish, is really simplifying it.
Well, and I think, Brian, when you got in this industry, the brand confusion, because there are so many things, like the amount of things that touch a transaction for a merchant is the processor, you have the ISO and all these things, and it just confuses them. When you first got into this and you tried to explain PayProtect and North American Bank Card and First Data or Global Payments and all these names are going to see, how did you fight through that confusion, or did you just ignore it and try to say, hey, just do business with me when you got into this industry?
Well, again, we're back to that's a great question, and we're back to the same thing. The thing that I have been able to do throughout my career is to sell myself. So to answer the question, yeah, I didn't talk hardly at all, if any, about Global and First Data. Before EPX and NAB and even PayProtect. I mean, I basically sold myself, collected statements to see if I could help whoever, whatever merchant it was. Again, I just think that's a huge part of selling. And I think it's something that it hasn't been forgotten, but it's I think a lot of people out there are looking at price first, and if you're going to sell that way, especially in this industry, I think you're going to fail. In my opinion, I'm not saying everyone's going to fail, but I think once you learn to brand yourself, you're a step ahead of everybody else.
Well, you're making this transition easy, but if we define brand as a story plus the marketing, how you tell that story plus the reputation, and that brand that you're developing is yourself as a payments professional, as a payments entrepreneur. Danny, are you seeing, because we're obviously being self-promoting here, how we're building brands in the payments world? Are you seeing more and more people selling under a name brand, something they developed, their business name, versus selling on, let's say, John Smith Merchant Services agent?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they're all representing a brand, and I'm gonna really tread lightly on this. I've been able to set up a lot of partners with the branding, but Brian Linke is the king of convincing people to rep their own brand. And partners are jumping all over this because the way that he's presenting it and the value that he's presenting it with is just, it's genius, right? I've learned a lot from him on really helping partners and helping people build their own brand and make their own footprint in this industry. And Brian's the king of that. So I want to
thank you, Dan. I appreciate that,
because he's the best at presenting that as so much value to these partners.
Well, thank you again for that. And I think, when I talk to new partners, and I do it every single day, partners calling in or answering our drift, marketing campaigns and stuff like that. The branding, the white label program that we offer here, I think there's three things, in my opinion, that separate us from just about everybody else. And the first, one of them is the branding white label program, the cash discount program being the other one. I think we do it better than everybody else. And our POS division is probably the third one. And those are the three that I focus on. But the branding white label program, again, in my opinion, what we're basically doing is we're giving these partners their own company, and we're still taking on all the risk. So, like, if I'm a partner, okay, I'll come out and say it. The cost is $5,000, and for $5,000, and if you want to talk more about it, and we have an email that we can send you that lists. I mean, Danny's done an amazing job. Lists everything you get and how we go about it. And but for $5,000, I think it's a no-brainer to do, because again, if you're going to invest in something, you may as well go ahead and invest in yourself. If you're going to take this job seriously, if this is like a part-time thing and you're just doing it just to make a couple of bucks, okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a lot of people that are doing other things or part-time things or staying home with the kids and they just want to do something. And Danny's mom got into the industry now, and I see her name all over the place. I mean, she's on everything, right? And we need to hit her up for the $5,000, Dan, by the way. Vicky Helm, a little shout out, but shout
out Vicky Helm.
And what I say to just about everybody, and I truly believe this. I don't think we're charging enough for it. And the reason why is for $5,000, we're giving you your own company, right? So your merchants see your name on all the statements, your company name, your color scheme, your logo gets in the back office. So when your merchants log into their portal, it's your thing that they're saying. It's not PayProTech, it's your thing. Well, okay, for you to be able to do that for what we're charging you, try going down to a bank and taking out a business loan and figuring out how to do that. Let me tell you something. It's gonna be a lot more than $5,000. So in my opinion, we're not charging enough. Now, are we going to charge any more for it? No, we're not. We've been doing pretty well with them. Not pretty well. Been doing very well with this. But again, if you're going to invest in something, investing in yourself. And we're pretty flexible as far as, how we're going to take the payment, and that we're going to work with you. And those are the agents that we're looking for, people that are going to, companies that are going to invest in themselves. And I think that our white label branding program is definitely something that separates just a normal partner from a partner that's, wants to be in this to make money. I mean, that's what it is.
Well, and I think a brand has become more and more important and is important in our industry. For sure, when merchants were looking to set up an account 10, 15 years ago, they had no idea. And the only thing they knew was, I'm going to go to my local bank and get set up. And that's what they thought. And in fact, the fact is the local bank couldn't set them up with processing. They had to work with a third party to be able to do it. But that's what they thought in order to do it. Now, there are, between PayPal, Stripe, Square, Toast, there are brands that are at the front of their tongue that they're thinking about and already connecting with. And you need to be able to set your name up equal to those. Daniel, how do you think the influence of having brands that are as strong and as fast growing as Square and Stripe in our industry has really pushed us to make sure that we are developing the personal brands of our payment entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think they're massive, right? And I mean, just like Brian said, I mean, people that want to really take their business seriously are going to get themselves established more, right? And repping your own brand, I think, is the most important, right? Like, I mean, PayProtech everywhere, right? And that's it's all over everything that I do. I mean, you've got to rep your brand, you've got to love your brand, and it's contagious, right? And so, sales partners that are building a good business, and a lot of them that are doing this are doing the branding for a few different reasons. One, so as they're building a team, they've got a brand around that, right? So you're not going through a PayProtech, you're not going through a North American Bank Card, you're going through your own brand, and it's more solidifying your team there with your own mark, if you will. And it tells your customers that you've got a bigger footprint, right? As opposed to John Smith Merchant Services or something like that, or John Smith Agent of PayProtech, which, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. We've got hundreds of partners that are partners of PayProtech, and they're repping a very solid brand. But the partners that are taking it to the next level, most likely because they're building a large team or because they're offering a variety of other services outside of PayProtech's offering, it's best to have your own brand, right? That way, say you're doing payroll, web development, any other business services, you want to have everything under one umbrella. And that's what we're seeing a lot of partners doing, because people are branching out. They're offering these businesses other services, other solutions. And let's be honest, you get these merchants with one, you hook a merchant with one of your products, you're going to have a much better opportunity to get them with others, right? And so if you can put everything under one umbrella, and you're going to be just much more established in doing that. And that's what we're seeing a lot of people doing. And I think the Squares, I think the Stripes, I think some of these bigger, more Clovers, right? These more well-known brands in our industry have helped partners see the advantages of being branded and having your own and repping your own brand, and how it can really help you build your business.
So if we use the equation story, who you are, what you do, why you do it, plus marketing, how you tell your story, plus reputation, what other people say about you. If that is your brand, what is the area that we're weakest in as payment professionals who are building our own brand, who are starting to, take their name to that next level? What's the area they need to work on the most? Brian, Danny, what do you think?
Brian?
Dan, I'll let you answer that one.
All right.
I'm not sure the answer.
All right. Well, we'll bring all three up. And for me, to me, obviously we've talked a lot about the tarnished reputation. And so making sure that you're working on that reputation, because I think everyone's pretty strong in their story and the why. Like behind me here, I have my little remember why. You can see part of and remember why you do it. And not all of us are great at telling our story in the marketing, but we do that naturally. I think we struggle at building that reputation and telling that, making sure that reputation out there, especially in our industry. That'd be one of my thoughts. But as you think about that, knowing why you do something and how you do something versus telling people about yourself, is it marketing or reputation? Those would be my question. Be the two that all of us, we need to work on all of it, but
Well,
which one would you
okay,
think?
actually, I got I talked to a partner the other day, and I was trying to, not convince it. Here's the thing: I don't think there's a whole lot of convincing that needs to be done. It's like, okay, are you going to take your business seriously, your career seriously? Then you're going to jump on board. Period. In my opinion. I mean, I don't think the money is an issue. I honestly don't, because again, we're willing to work with you. But this one guy told me, and I, for one of the first times in my life, was left speechless. Because you know what he said? He said to me, "Well, yeah, but if I do it, then all my merchants are gonna look to me if something goes wrong. But if I don't do it, then I can just blame you guys." I'm like, you got me.
That's
You got me.
It's not a terrible argument, right?
It's not a terrible argument, and I didn't have an answer for it. But go ahead, Dan. Please.
Trust me, I've heard this from many, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, there's again, with our industry, there is a lot of flexibility that we provide, right? Other processors might not provide this as much as we do, but it's open, right? It's non-exclusive, no production quotas. Come and do business with us. We want to be your preferred partner, but we also understand that we're not going to be a good fit for all types of businesses or every solution that certain merchants need. And so a lot of partners want to position themselves as brokers, right? So they can rep their brand at the surface, but state to these merchants that we're going to find the right partner, the right ISO partner for you. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. But again, I think the partners that are taking the next steps of building large teams, what you're doing there by having your own brand is you're avoiding the inevitable go around, right? Like, why would I partner with Linky Merchant Services when PayProTech's on everything? I can go to PayProTech and get a better deal, right? So they're repping their own brand. They are eliminating the PayProTech out of the equation as far as the brand is concerned. They are their own ISO, right? They have the entire PayProTech program in their brand, on applications, on statements, on portals, like you said, Brian. Everything is in their brand, right? Other partners that really are just trying to, and really they want to set up partnerships with so many different companies, then they are positioning themselves as brokers, and that's not a bad thing to do either. You're right, Brian. There's not really a good answer for that. It's more of like, hey, I understand, right? But if you're wanting to build a bigger team and be more established, if you're wanting to offer other services outside of PayProTech, and this is what some don't understand, is that if you're a partner of PayProTech and you're offering payroll, web development, tax services, phone services, anything like that to offer to businesses, you can't wrap the PayProTech brand around that, right? Because those aren't services that we offer. So that's where you would want to have your own brand and really encompass everything. So there's a few different reasons why partners would want to brand with us. And I think it's the bigger offices, it's the bigger players that are building teams that are doing this, and individual 1-2-man shows that are really building very solid portfolios and doing this. That's why we have the PayProTech brand to go under. And there's always options for that too.
Well, the fact is, no matter what, you are selling under a brand.
A brand.
You are a
That's
brand,
right.
and you're
Right.
you're either helping us build and working together with us to build our brand,
That's right.
or you're building your own brand, and we want to provide both roads for you to be able to do it. And so let's talk a little bit about how we do that when we allow people to build their own brand using us as their foundation. Brian, you're such a great salesman at this. So let's hear your elevator pitch. And you've kind of shown in the little pizzas of it, of what you're talking to our partners about why they should do the Go Brand Yourself campaign.
Grab your
Again, I think-
popcorn, people. Here we go.
Well, no. I think I've already answered the question.
You have, but
I just think that it's.
They want to hear the pitch.
Well, okay. The pitch is, if you're taking your business seriously, if you're taking yourself seriously, and you're looking to build a business, again, going down to the bank, if that's an option for you, I'm telling you right now, you want to start, go get a business loan and do that. Good luck, because let me tell you something right now, banks are not. They're not the friendliest, the easiest people to deal with, especially today. There used to be a day where you could walk into a bank, you want 10 grand. Okay. You sign a piece of paper. They write you a check. Today's not that day. Now at PayProTech, I mean, we're saying, okay, for $5,000, again, we're giving you your own company, we are still maintaining all the risk. I just don't see a downside to it. I mean, again, what Danny just said and what I heard from a guy the other day, okay, if that's the biggest argument, you know what, I get it. Sure. I'm not going to fight you on it. But what I'm finding is, from talking to a lot of guys that are serious about this, and gals that are serious about this, I think they look at it the same way as I do, where it is a no-brainer as far as establishing their, building their portfolio under themselves and having something, again, a lot of it, there's a pride factor as well. Right. I mean, there's a, hey, you know what? This is my thing, right? This is my deal. So when you log on to your back office, you're going to see my name and my color scheme and my logo. And, I think that there's a lot to be said for that. So, and again, I start my pitch off with, I can tell you right now, we're not charging enough for it. We're definitely not. And, I said, I get pushed back all the time. From the powers that be, but I'm never going to win that argument. And I don't, and that's tongue in cheek a little bit, but, and I honestly believe that, if we did charge more for it, obviously we wouldn't have nearly as many partners that have jumped on board. So we're doing that because again, I think it's a very unique thing that we offer. I don't think it's a whole lot of money. We're very flexible, as far as taking payment. And I just, if it's me, I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. So that's my pitch.
All right, Danny, now let's walk us through exactly what this offer is. When you go brand, so what does the PayProtect Go Brand Yourself program look like? And then even how do you get involved if they're interested in learning more?
Yeah, I mean, so the brand program, gosh, we've got, I want to say over 40 partners that have branded across our entire companies, but it's gaining popularity, especially as Brian and I and you, Nate. I mean, all of us have conversations with partner offices all the time, and then on the recruiting aspect, and as we're bringing on new reps, it is extremely popular. Like I said, Brian is the best at really showing how valuable this is, and I've had more agreements come across my desk from Brian Linke that people are ready to brand before they've ever done business with us, right? And that's because he's explaining the value properly, and people want to rep their own brands. When I started in this industry, I would get questions all the time, this is 15 plus years ago, from people that wanted to become their own ISO. What they didn't understand, and this is where Brian explains it really well about the risk factor, is that what they didn't understand is everything that came with that. What they wanted was just their brand on statements and applications, and they wanted to show their customers that this is my company, right? And that was a big difference as opposed to being your own ISO and having, the investment that comes along with it. You've got to have a lot of capital to become an ISO, right? And so there's investments in equipment.
More than $5,000.
More than $5,000. That's right. You can actually become a registered ISO for about $15,000. But then there's annual fees, there's production requirements. And that's just the start of it, right? Then you're putting together your own partner package and program that PayProtect has. Very similar. That's what becoming your own ISO is. And that's where a lot of folks just were missing the concept. And what I learned whenever this brand program, and Nate, you've helped me with this tremendously, is that it's not about becoming your own ISO. It's about repping your own brand, right? And the importance of that. So when this rolled out back in 2018, we had several of our larger offices that were like, thank you, we've been wanting to do this. And we talk to people often that we think we're the only ones that are really doing this at the level that we're doing it. We're literally registering your DBA onto our ISO registration through our platform and sponsor banks. So basically your DBA and trademark is part of a registered ISO, where I've seen others that are doing like a form of a branding, but it's not legitimate. They're not going to that level of it, right? I mean, we're registering at state levels. We're really taking this all the way to the top to make it extremely legitimate for partner offices. And you get everything that you see currently that is PayProTech facing. Take that PayProTech off of it and put your brand. Nate, and you and our marketing team have taken this to the next level, right? We've helped a lot of our offices build their own websites with those brands now that they're established and branded with us, update marketing material, provide additional, there's a lot more advantages. And Nate, I think you can talk about that better than I can, but there's more advantages on top of the portals and the statements and the core of the branding aspect that we've created that you and our marketing team have just taken to the next level for our branded partners.
Well, I think what we try to do is provide you, we can't build a new, unique, and original website for every ISO at this point. Right. It's not feasible and you don't want to pay for it. And it takes away from your bonuses. But at the end of the day, what we try to do is make it very easy for you to be able to find someone, and we even help you find someone to be able to brand everything. So that logo you never see the PayProTech logo. You never see any logo on anything that isn't yours. And so whether it's your website, right, making sure that you have access to the source files. And one of the things we encourage you to do is, hey, if you're going to go brand yourself, then also go work with someone who's also going to help you, who's maybe a marketing specialist in your town or a graphic designer, and help them. And we'll give them the source files to every file we ever build. And you literally have a Google Drive folder that we do it. And sometimes we do it for you and do 10 of them. But I love it when you go and find someone, because a lot of times you get their business and their referral network and all that. But it's a great way to make sure that your website and your name and your story is being told the way you want to, and that builds your reputation for years to come and decades to come, not just PayProTech's reputation. So that's really important.
That's why Nate too, like when people, and Dina's going to laugh at this, when they call, when I see on the Drift Lead or whatever that they want to become their own ISO, and then I get on the phone with them and I'm like, so why you searching around? Well, I want to become my own ISO. My response to them right away: no, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. And then after I start talking to them and they realize that the cost involved and the headache involved, why do it? I mean, I guess unless your pockets are so deep that it doesn't really matter. And I've yet to run into anybody like that. Again, in my opinion, the $5,000 to invest in yourself, which is, if you're not going to invest in yourself, what are you going to invest in? Is a no-brainer.
Well, as we close up today, here's the story of how I summarize this. People are buying from brands no matter what. And they're doing that in their day-to-day consumer life, and they're doing that in their business life, because business is just people-to-people transactions, and they're looking for brands to be able to trust in. They're looking brands to believe in, and we want to help you build that brand. And Danny and Brian, as we come to closing comments, as you get your thoughts together of how you're going to close this today, one of the things I would ask is, what difference do you think it'll make in the payments professionals that we're working with if they fully dive in and develop their brand? How do you think that's going to change their business life in the days, weeks, years to come? Brian, you want to go first?
Yeah, again, I mean, I think there's a pride factor involved. So again, if you're investing, there's so rather than PayProTech's orange and the thumbprint logo and things like that, but by investing in yourself, I think when you walk into a merchant and you can show them like, hey, this is my company, I think it goes a long way. I really do. I think it goes a long way. It's one thing to, if you're merchants that you've already boarded and, but I think when you walk into a new business and you're talking to a new business and on your business card is your logo and your color scheme and your name. I just think it goes a long way. I think it's a pride thing. It makes you feel good about yourself. And again, I think it's a very unique feature that we offer.
Danny Shard.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything, it motivates, right? It pumps you up a little bit, right? That you're going to get out there and you have your own thing. Now, we've got also a lot of partners that have, branded themselves with the PayProTech, right? So we've got Jeff Zarrett, PayProTech West Coast, also PayProTech Ohio, Travis Crafton, PayProTech Kansas City, Vince Laforte, PayProTech Pacific, Bradley Alton, PayProTech South, right? I mean, we've got folks that have kind of branded their own divisions of PayProTech and kind of kind of set their own course with that, but still piggybacking onto our brand, which is great. And I think having your own brand more than anything gets you motivated. It establishes you with your customers, and it builds confidence with both you and your merchants. So I encourage people to do it. And if not your own brand, with the Papertech brand, but rep your brand and commit to it.
Well, on that, we will get started with our end credits. We're so thankful you joined us today. We will be live again on Friday morning. We're going to have a little Friday morning frenzy, a little bit of fun, a little bit of engagement. We've talked about really good things this week and continue going on. Brian, Danny, high five, everybody. Thank you, everyone. We're so thankful you joined us. This is a great opportunity. We love being out here. Thanks for being part of the Papertech Nation. Have a great one, guys. The high five.